Phoenix1's first LCS victory. We're going stage side, where Zyrene is going to give us an interview with Phoenix1 support.
Thank you very much, Dom. Great cast on the day as well. I'm here with Gate, the support of the victorious Phoenix1. I have to ask you right off the bat, you guys won your first series. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels good, man. But yeah, I don't know. It feels good to finally get a win on the board. That's about it.
And you guys, you've been through so many struggles. You've lost a lot of games. Like, how do you keep positive through all of that and ending up at this point eventually?
Personally, I think I just try to think, not like our score in the standings, it doesn't matter so much. We're just trying to go on the grind every week and then improve ourselves every week. And in the end, if we're good players, if we're a good team, we're going to end up with wins. So I think thinking about it too much is just not worth the time.
And the team finally got everybody, the intended roster together. How are you feeling about the team right now for Phoenix1?
I think we're actually way stronger than people think. I think our game 1 against TSM yesterday, like we kept pace with them fairly well in the first game. And it's mostly like some individual stuff that made us lose that set, I think. But they're a strong team too. But overall, I'm pretty sure over the course of the season, we're going to end up with a better standing too.
And how are you feeling about the coaching staff as well as the Phoenix1 organization? Because you've been on a few teams before. How are these guys?
I can say with confidence that Phoenix1 is the best org I've been on so far. They really care about the players. They really want us to succeed. And they provide us with everything we need to do so.
Awesome. And final question for you here, Gate. Next week, you go up against Echo Fox, who you are currently tied with in the standings. What is your thought on that matchup? Is this the start of the reverse season sweep? How's it going to go?
I think Echo Fox is actually a pretty good team, similar to us. I think people give them a lot of flack for their standing. But yeah, I definitely want to just reverse sweep the rest of the season. And actually, my goal for this team is still playoffs, but we'll have to take it 1 week at a time.
Yeah, you guys could definitely still get up there and have playoffs. Thank you very much, Gate, for the interview. Congratulations and good luck next week. And now we're going to throw it over to the analysts to break down that series.
And the Phoenix rises from the ashes. There it is. No, a great first victory for Phoenix1 here on the split, taking down Apex in a 2-1 series. Great to see them grab that victory. Great to hear from Gate as well in that interview, talking about the team and the organization behind them and the efforts they're making to improve. This is step 1 of that improvement, is taking their first match victory.
My favorite thing about their set was the fact that their wins came off of their own plays. They're looking for the picks themselves. They're looking for the roams. What can they be pushing? You saw Mash in that Twitch game just constantly roaming and looking for picks, and that's how you play the champion, and they actually play that really well. They're always pushing the advantage that they currently had, and that's a really nice change to see as opposed to a team that's just kind of taking the win from the opponent's
So, Mark, help me set this up, because exactly what he talked about, they played to their win conditions, they were proactive. That, of course, starts in Champion Select with the team comp that you build. So let's take a look at this Champion Select and what Phoenix1 crafted for themselves.
I mean, honestly, I think as much as Phoenix1 drafted well, Apex drafted pretty horribly. The Casio was basically first picked, right, on the side of Phoenix1.
First rotation on red side.
Yeah, first rotation. And when you see a Casio, you instantly think, like, okay, well, we need to get some engaged in here, because if we don't get engaged, the Casio will just burn our front line, and then they'll turn onto our back line. And they just didn't draft anything that can engage. Like, you have the Karma sped up Rek'Sai, sure, but that's not going to fly against a Braum and Elise, like everything that Phoenix1 has.
Exactly.
So that's why the Twitch pick is so good, is because, like,
he's ultra safe now.
He's ultra safe. Like, there's no engage. Twitch will just blow you up from the back line. The Jhin can kind of like poke, but that's not nearly enough. Like, they need to draft something with tank. Crumbs had a great idea of taking a Bard instead of a Thresh. You have some long-range engage now, and then you speed the Rek'Sai in for the knock-up coming out, and it makes sense. Thresh does nothing. It's just not going to work as a comp, and then with that advantage, Phoenix1 was able to punish really, really hard.
Well, another issue I had is that Apollo is constantly falling behind in CS in the series, and when you pick a champion like Jhin, who struggles to rotate, who struggles to actually pick up a lot of farm in the game, putting him in a champion like that is just going to emphasize the strength that P1 had in the AD carry kind of mismatch and just utilize that. And that's how they won game 2, and that's how they won game 3.
Exactly. Let's dive into some gameplay itself. 15 minutes into the game, Phoenix1 going to pick up some cross-map kills here. But true to form on this day, we're under
what's with the pace
inhibs.
races?
With the 20-minute, the sub 20-minute like inhib fights are ridiculous. But Phoenix1 playing this one out fairly well and preparing themselves.
That was a great flash Cassio ult to protect Mash from getting collapsed on. And they're able to basically stay alive in that fight. They go 1 for 1, but they're able to take the turret because of it. And then what ends up happening on the flip side is Apex is just not able to make their own dive happen because, once again, no engage. And so Special's going really hard, picks up turret aggro, and then Zig is able to punish him for this.
Boom!
Basically just trying to force anything to get, and they just can't.
I love the decisiveness on the dive on P1. We talk about a lot of teams not having that decisiveness when it comes to these tower dives on people trying to defend. Apex did not have one. They pay for it. As soon as Trundle steps up, we have the Braum flashing in, everybody following this up, and when somebody else steps up, Cassiopeia goes there to defend the teammate. And that's exactly how we should see these team plays occur, as opposed to the reverse, which was what Apex was trying to do.
I love even more the fact that we saw those two things immediately following each other in the same game. So you get a very stark contrast. One team making a decisive play pays off for them. One team kind of falters on it, hesitates for half a second, and they even give another advantage over in a kill to Zig, who played very well on that Gnar in this game. I want to jump forward a little bit just to 19 minutes into the game. Phoenix1 is going to pick up an ace of all things here. So, at this point, just kind of rolling in the dough.
I mean, you just see how Apex can't do anything but run at them. There's no engage. There's already been a ton of ults blown this fight, but that still doesn't matter because they just can't ever actually get in on P1. And P1's able just to mow them down with both Twitch and Cassio burning multiple members down and Zig kiting out also on Gnar. So there's just so little engage.
I mean, an important thing with the draft is making sure that all your champions don't have the same kind of weakness. And Apex's comp, they're all kind of just walk towards you. None of them actually have a way of getting into the
tunnel,
fight.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult.
Yeah,
like,
flash knockouts
literally,
and-
all it takes is Cassiopeia W, and okay, you can't cross anymore.
Right. Yeah, so ultimately, Phoenix1, they secure the Baron. They're able to close out the game with the advantages that they had created. Now, I want to look forward a little bit and talk about how they can ensure that this happens more often, right? Because that's the trick here. This is your first victory of this split. We talk about how this is a team that is looking to improve. Gate says he's got a great support staff and organization behind him. What are the most key things that these guys need to tackle as a team in order to improve the quickest?
For me, I think it's just kind of consistency, because since Inori's come in, they've actually been able to make a number of plays onto enemy teams. Like we saw him kind of camp Hanser really hard in one of their games versus TSM, and if they can kind of do that and take those advantages and snowball them throughout the rest of the game, as opposed to just like having a good play here or there, then they can have a good chance to win. And I think that they actually, I wouldn't put them bottom of the league, like 10th place anymore. I think, given some of the struggles of other teams, I would put them, a little bit higher, maybe 8th, 9th. So
Who would you put dead last?
for me personally, I think it might be Echo Fox. They've just been struggling to do anything really in their games, and it's like P1 is improving. You can say Energy is looking better, more consistent. A lot of the teams are looking better, even if they're still like in that standing or whatever. But Echo Fox has been getting worse, it seems. So
yeah, you talk about a direction that you want your team to move in. Phoenix1 is at least moving in the right direction as a squad. You mentioned the fact that Inori, with him, they've looked a little bit better. We do have to remind ourselves that he has not been on the stage with this team for all 5 weeks. So they're definitely playing catch up with the rest of the teams. We got a hit player of the game is going to go to Zig on this one with that Gnar. Had a couple very great ultimates, as well as we saw in the replay, that hold on the top turret, allowing his team to get that early inhib by being able to defend the way he did.
Well, one of the things that I really like about Zig's play this game is that while he fell behind in CS towards this early stages of the game, he was still able to maintain relevancy, especially in that Trundle matchup. Once he gets that frozen mallet, it's really hard for Trundle to really punish onto the Gnar, and he just kept on going at it, not getting caught, understanding that all he has to do is just not die. Just let the Twitch, let the Cassiopeia. The composition is just going to win itself because there's no answers from the Apex draft. So by making sure that he just does not feed and just catches a wave patiently, he'll trust his team to do the right thing, and that's exactly what happened.
yeah, not much more to add. I mean, it was really just about being the front line that his team needed, and he did that excellent.
All right, well, once again, Phoenix1 picking up their first series victory of the split in 2-1 fashion over Apex. Very happy with that. We'll track their progress throughout the rest of the split. But now it's time to check out who pulled down Player of the Game honors today across all of the North American LCS. Bjergsen and Dardoch showed up big this week, each grabbing 3 awards. Huni took down 2 today, back-to-back against Cloud9, along with a slew of players taking 1 Player of the Game honor each. And now a look rather at how the player of the game leaderboard stands after today. We've still got Bjergsen and Doublelift leading the charge 7 and 6. Pobelter I should include in that top 3. And then you follow that up with Dardoch Phoenix sitting at 5 as we saw earlier today. And then the big one that still obviously jumps out at me is Bunny Fufu sitting at 4. Given the fact that they continue that support trading between him and Smoothie, so you have to keep in mind the number of games that he's played.
It's those thresh plays every time, just saving people, hooking through seemingly impossible situations. And he also has a very nasty Bard, so while getting those half games, you could argue that probably if you got many more of those games, it might not be able to pull up player of the game every single time, but it's still a very solid player. And as they've been vocal about it, it's just two teammates helping each other grow.
I like how the player of the game standings are kind of the same as the actual standings. You see TSM at the top, and then you got like
Immortals
one from Immortals,
yeah.
and then you got 2 from TL there. So it's pretty funny that that's how it's working out as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it does come down to you win more games, obviously, have more opportunities to get player of the game awards. But within those teams, too, it's very interesting to track which players are the ones that are shooting up the ladder. Now for an updated look at the standings following the conclusion of all of our Week 5 matches. The top is still rock solid. TSM and Immortals at 1st and 2nd place. Now in a 3-way tie for 3rd, C9, Liquid, and Team Envy are all bunched up and fighting for a top spot, while the bottom half of the standings are led by Apex and 6th, followed by the rest of the league. Phoenix1 tying themselves up with Echo Fox there at the bottom of the tables. We're done for the day, but Week 6 is right around the corner, and it all starts Wednesday with a PTL at 5 Pacific, followed by Cloud9 Challenger and Nova in the Challenger Series at 6. Next week, the EU LCS is on at a special time, Friday, 5 p.m. Central European Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. The EU LCS goes live and follows up with a special Saturday EU show that kicks off at noon Central European. Now on Friday night at 5 Pacific, the NALCS returns with TSM taking on Cloud9 in the Battle Theater. And get pumped now, our match of the week comes your way Saturday from the Battle Arena where Liquid and Immortals square off. My goodness, that was a lot of words. Did you guys catch all that?
No, I totally ignored you.
What? Why would you do that?
It's just
because now I'm going to ask you questions about everything I just said. Pop quiz. Were you paying attention?
Sure.
All right. Talk to me about this match of the week.
Team Liquid Immortals.
There it is. There it is. See, Crumbs is paying attention.
I
Gold
can just
star.
behind. I don't need to listen to you.
Behind us.
All right. Well, then neither of you get a gold
time
star.
for EU LCS. Special.
There you go. Oh. Yeah, EU's on special time. We digress. Immortals versus Team Liquid. With Team Liquid's great showing this week, they're going to be moving into this matchup feeling relatively good, having taken down Cloud9. However, based on the Immortals Cloud9 matchup, I'd still be pretty terrified.
Yeah, Immortals looks pretty good.
I mean, you see what happens when like one team stomps another team, and then they go up against like the CLG TSM thing where both stomped really hard, and then you compared them, and TSM still smashed them. I think that might be the situation here where it's like 2 Rams just being their head against each other, but one Rams.
One is a youngin. And
I know.
Yeah.
I was going to say. I mean, I know that you've talked about, Mark, the fact that you think that Liquid and Immortals play very much alike each other. It's just that Immortals kind of has that +1 in each category in terms of their attributes as a team. So that always bodes for an unfavorable matchup for Team Liquid.
Right. It's not that each player is the same when you start comparing them, but it's their overall mentality to the game where they both love being aggressive. Mm-hmm. And when 2 teams are really aggressive, you get explosive, decisive games, and I don't think you'll see any slow stall outs.
Team Liquid likes to lose fast as well, so I feel like if they get if they happen to fall behind early, which is a really big thing that Immortals does, they get ahead early, these games might be rather quickly as opposed to what Immortals tries to do, which is to kind of stall out just a little bit until they feel comfortable to make it back.
Yeah, Team Liquid's version of the surrender is just the 5-man all-in at 24 minutes when you're down 8K gold. Like, let's take a stab at it. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we have our way back into it. All right, well, throughout the day, we've been asking you to send us pics on Twitter, and before we go, we want to highlight how some of you at home watch the show. First up, a tweet comes from Magnus Franta, who says, watching NALCS with my cat, at least trying to. She's distracting me. Crumbs, if you can either step towards me or step towards Mark.
Opened up.
Either way, here we go. As you can see, I don't have a cat, and it's part of the reason why I don't have a cat is because I know that they would interrupt all of my viewing experiences.
They actually do. They get on your keyboard and they just start typing for you.
They're a living pillow. You just they just walk up on you and they're like, I go here.
All right. No, no, scoot all the way over because we're gonna show another picture.
Come here, buddy.
All right, you're having trouble with the whole blocking elements.
I'll choose both.
Just go around.
Yeah, you know what? You're done for the day. All right, up next, Forgotten Jedi snapped the pic with maybe our youngest viewer today saying, how I LCS with my little buddy.
Is it beer?
Where?
I mean, that's a way.
We had the wrong photo. I was
the
like,
beer back. I want a
we are in a bar right now. A freshly poured beer with young. That is adorable. Great to get the family included with esports, right? As early as
started,
possible.
yeah.
There's
Get
a
them
lot
started.
of plushies that are very comfortable.
You know, I wonder if any of the teams are, have made any baby-sized merchandise, right? You know how growing up,
Gotta
parents
capitalize
could buy,
on the
your
young
parents could buy
markets.
you, like the NFL jersey for your favorite team for, small fry. Gotta do
sneakers,
that
too.
here. Anyway, great to see that. Finally, at Matt Will Jackson is having a more adult-oriented evening and writes, I usually just watch the EU games at work, but this is a nice way to end LCS. This makes a little bit more sense to the tweet that we got here. But love it. Little cold brew in front and some LCS games. Great to see the League of Legends, competitive League of Legends, making its way out into the world in that fashion.
Yeah, I mean, having a baby is a pretty adult thing too. Having one, so not just
You
drinking beer.
You think that, but we've seen many cases
The
where
most
babies
adult
are
thing you
not
can
very
do
adult
is to
things.
drink beer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our show. So on behalf of myself, our guest analysts, the casters, the King of the North, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
You mean the king of the